Well, we're going from Mark to Mark today. Our teen behavior expert was here last year, but not on this program. He was at the church right behind us, speaking about parenting today's teens. I was there. The sanctuary was full, and I recognized many faces from the Christian community in this area. Mark Gregston has spent 35 years, over 35.
It feels like a lot more. It feels like a lot more.
Well, it's rich as you've helped teenagers and their parents. The seminar that was conducted here and that you do everywhere has an ominous title, Turbulence Ahead, Parenting Teens Through the Bumpy Years. Mark, C.S. Lewis called the teen years the dark ages of human development. And, you know, that just says to me there's a normalcy about what scares many of us.
Yeah, there is, but you know, it's a lot different now. I mean, I think the world has been exposed to so many different things in the last few years because of the internet, because of media, because of all those things. It has exposed our kids to so much that what's happening is our kids are having a tough time really thinking that what we're teaching them, what we're sharing with them, those principles, those values, all those things we're building into their life, they're having a tough time thinking that it really applies to their world to help them through this culture. I mean, I think this culture is just wearing them out. I mean, we talk about a tsunami wave of culture that has hit our kids today. It is amazing no matter how prepared you are. I mean, those tsunamis that hit Thailand years ago, you know, if you were prepared standing in a boat with a life jacket on, you were going to die. I mean, and I think the same way, this culture has hit our kids, this wave so strong that our kids are scrambling. And as a result, they're leaving the church, they're walking away from mom and dad, they're giving up on what they believe because they really think that it doesn't apply to this culture. It is so intense. And I'm not an anti-world kind of person. I'm not an anti-world guy at all. I mean, God loves this world, but I think helping our kids take what we have taught them and apply it to their life in such a way that it's effective, that it moves them in a positive way, that it helps get them to a place where they want to be and keeps them from ending up at some place where they don't want to end up. I think once a child understands that, perhaps they will, you know, maybe embrace what we have been teaching them for so many years.
Be able to make some big picture choices. We know their brains don't do consequences well in the teen years, and that I'm sure is part of the problem. My home improvement sign, bring your family to church. Some parents just beside themselves because the church is struggling too.
Oh, they are.
In many ways. And you had a great word picture when I showed you my photograph.
Yeah, you know, I think we spend so much time trying to raise kids to live in a zoo that we never spend time helping them prepare to survive in the jungle. I mean, and what's happened is that our little zoo, that protected area where we've been, has been infiltrated. I mean, it's come in through the internet, through media, and we are now dealing with issues that we thought as Christians, because we've held to, you know, just train up a child in the way he should go. And when they're old, they won't depart from it. Yet we see 85% of kids leaving the church and walking away from it when they graduate from high school. There's something that is a real disconnect. And I think it's the way we've raised our kids. I think it's the way that we've engaged with them, perhaps doing too much for them, perhaps being a little bit too hovering, assuming, you think maybe too much, just doing everything for them. And in the midst of doing everything for them, that which we do, they don't get to do. So they don't get to develop the maturity to face the world that they have to face. And so
responsible independence.
Oh, yeah.
Responsible independence.
Yeah.
That's our mission, isn't it?
It is.
It is. As someone said, you need to hold them like a kite, where you kind of got one end of the string, but you have to let them fly. And I know you and Jim were very animated in the green room about parents needing to let go sooner, to release sooner. Yeah,
it's tough. And let me say this, you know, I think every child needs to be in control of their life. We don't need to be controlling them. And I think what is happening is kids are fighting for control. They want to take what they've been taught and apply it to their world. But sometimes we as parents are over-controlling, we're overprotective, we take that away from kids, and so we force our kids to have to fight to get it. And we label it as rebellion. What our child wants to do is move to independence. And so I look at kids all the time and I say, you know, I want you to be in control of your life, but you're going to have to be responsible, so you have to start making some decisions. And so I make sure they do that. Now, I'll give you a horse story. I mean, I'm sitting here wearing boots. And
you are a long-told Texan.
Yeah, and I mean, I ride horses a lot, and I've learned one thing. When you're on a horse that is out of control, the tendency is always to pull back on the reins. And you go, I'm going to control them, I'm going to control them.
That's out of fear, right?
It is.
Yeah,
but you know what you do? Yeah. You let go. And you let the horse start taking control. You give them the opportunity so they don't have to fight for it. I mean, even an animal knows that. And so in some way, I mean, I tell parents all the time, you've got to let the rope out just a little bit more. You've got to loosen the reins. You know, don't get to the point where your kids have to fight for it. Give it to them beforehand so they don't have to grab it away from you. Because when they do, when they start to fight, they will not only reject you, they will reject that which you have taught them, what you've shared with them, the principles you've built into their life, and they will walk the other way.
I get Mark's emails, and how many do I get? Do I get more than one a week? I think they just keep coming.
Yeah, we keep sending them out.
And I mean, look, they're so good. Internet safety for teens, getting the help you need when you need it, to tell the truth, talking about parents' example, our society's bad example of not being honest and truthful.
Right.
These are available at parentingtodaysteens.org. But one of them, I'm just quoting here, teenagers need a safe and secure place to come ashore. Is it going to be home or peers?
Or somewhere else, yeah.
Or somewhere else. Now, you've got to be dealing with young people since, well, what, 1989? You moved to East Texas and founded Heartlight, 150 miles east of Dallas. This is a residential treatment center for troubled teens.
Yeah.
Some of those teens haven't had helicopter parents. They've had disengaged, too busy, unavailable parents.
Yeah, some have. You know, some have. But others and most have really had parents that are great parents. I mean, they love their kids, but they do too much for them. They are standing on top of them all the time, or they've exposed them to things that perhaps any kid shouldn't go through. Divorce, death, I mean, all those situations that are very tough for a child to go through at a time that this culture is hitting them at the same time. I think that parents have got to, you know, spend a little bit more time thinking through, how do I engage my child? How do I create that safe environment at home that they can come home to? I mean, I think we beat our kids up. I mean, they come home from school and we say, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. And I want you to do this, and you need to hold up to this standard. That's what we want for you. And a child's looking at us going, man, I am so overwhelmed. I need some rest. And so they find a place of rest. But it's somewhere else where somebody can identify with their problems, with their pressure, and they walk away from mom and dad. I mean, Jesus made a statement that to me is amazing. He said, come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and you will find rest for your soul. Well, that needs to be home. I mean, the gospel is a place that someone can find rest. You know, so I tell parents all the time, the practical side of this, correct your child on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, don't say anything negative or try to, you know, to hold them to some standard. Just let it be. And on Sunday, give it a rest. I mean, at some point, a child's got to know, I just need a place where I can come sit and just stop. They are being torn to shreds in this culture. We've got to give them a place of rest.
Now, Mark, you have two grown children, a boy and a girl. And how many grandchildren? 2
grandchildren. Okay. A reward for not killing my own kids. I mean, so I love them.
Did you have the internet to deal with as you were parenting? You didn't.
You know, really didn't.
See, this is huge. Providing something more compelling than the friends on the internet.
Yeah.
Suggestions.
It's tough. Absolutely. You know, I mean, I have to ask the question. I mean, that kids are being exposed to so many different things. Can I compete with that?
Yeah.
I mean, is there something about me that can compete? And the answer is probably not. I can't, you know, develop that community for them that they find in other places. I can't entertain them. I mean, I've taken my kids and grandkids to places that you would think they would just go, this is unbelievable. And they go, neat. Let's get back on the Game Boy. Let's get back on the internet. Let's get back and do these other things. I think I have something to offer them. I have value that I can transfer to them. I have experience that I can give them. I can offer them a relationship that says there's nothing you can do to make me love you less, and there's nothing you can do to make me love you more.